Thank you. Appreciate all you guys being here. Dr. Livingstone, thank you for being here. Obviously, very proud of our football team. Not perfect. We still have those penalties that drive you crazy when you have a chance to put games away. But I thought our team showed the toughness and the discipline and the courage to make the plays down the stretch that you have to make to win a game. And I thought they showed that all this week, putting last week behind them. Going home for Thanksgiving, getting back on time, being focused and playing the game, and just really proud of them as a whole, proud of them as a team. Jalen Hurd got hurt in the first drive, and we had a whole game plan kind of set up around him. And I told him, I said, Jalen, I said it was something in his knee, something in his ankle. He just got invited to the Senior Bowl. He's a combine. He's probably a first-round draft pick. I said, Jalen, you should sit this one out. And he was like, no, Coach, I'm playing. So just special kids. And, JaMychal Hasty had something at home yesterday. I told him to go home and missed the game. And, he went home, and his mom dropped him off at 9 o'clock this morning to be here, even though he knew he wasn't playing. And so I'm just happy for them and happy for that locker room and happy that we have a chance to move forward. So I have a lot of respect for Cliff Kingsbury and that Texas Tech football team. And I thought it was fitting that we ended the game with some, running the football, finally getting an interception. Great play by Blake Lynch and a key sack by B.J. Thompson. So it wasn't perfect, but it was a step forward. And as I told our team, the bad news is they got to deal with me for another couple weeks because we get to have bowl practice now and do the things that, that they've worked so hard to do. So with that, I'll see what questions you guys have.
Okay, question. We'll take one on the front, and then we'll go to the second aisle.
Matt.
I'm not used to this first-class service. Taylor doesn't do this for me. You know that, right?
Well,
I have to moderate and answer the questions.
Name and affiliation. Don't forget.
Matt, Kevin Locke with Sikkim Sports. When Tech narrowed it to 28-24, your kids responded with that touchdown drive early in the fourth. What did that tell you about this team, its focus in this game?
I thought they had tremendous focus. I think the biggest issue was we had 7 penalties in the first half. And really a lot of them, we haven't asked Christoph to play on the ball as an on-the-ball tight end too much, and I think he had 3 or 4, even on the last drive, had 3 or 4 false starts when they stemmed. And he's a freshman. There's always a fine balance there between getting after him and also being positive with him. So, I think we thought we could control a lot of things that we were doing. I thought Jeff Nixon called a great game today, and just the penalties. And so we just kept saying, hey, to the offense, we said, no matter what happens, go respond. And to the defense, we kept saying, hang in there, go make some plays. Really, the story of the second half to me, I'm sorry, guys, I'm not feeling real great. The story of the second half to me was our kicking game allowed twice now. We allowed them to overturn the opening kickoff back to the 30, and then we allowed them we punted the ball, and they ran it back. And so the kicking game hurt us, so we had to shore that up there at the end. But, there's no question to me about these young men's ability to overcome adversity. There's not a tougher group. And, we know that we're a fourth-quarter team. That's where we do our best work. And so we just kept trying to, hang in the game and keep building until we got to the fourth quarter.
Question on the second row. Chuck.
Chuck Carlton, Dallas Morning News. Matt, I think you've said a couple times, but definitely after the spring game, that this team would be going to a bowl this year. You kind of promised the fans in Waco that after a 1-11 season. What gave you that belief, and what does it say now about the progress that you guys have made in year 2 here going to that bowl?
Well, I think it speaks to the character and who those guys are. I just said on the radio, no one really knows what it's like when you win 1 game or 2 games. Unfortunately, I've been there. I was there as an assistant coach. I was on a 0-11 Buffalo team. I was on a 2-9 Buffalo team. I was on a 2-10 Temple team that got bowl eligible the next year, and I was on a 1-11 Baylor team that got bowl eligible the next year. And when you win 1 game, you preach the message all day about patience and process and faith, but when you leave the building, you're questioning it. It's all you hear is negativity, and it's natural. Even as the head coach, you start to question, like, does this work? Does this really work? Does that? And you have to either you break apart and fracture, or you come together. And so what I saw last year was a team that was coming together. And when you win a game like today after Thanksgiving, when it's both teams are 5-6 and fighting to go to a bowl, and it really comes down to me. It comes down to which team loves and respects each other enough, and not that they don't, but just saying for our team, we knew we had to love and respect each other enough to go out there and play for each other. And so I saw that last year. I saw the guys getting better as the year went on. I saw them blocking out the noise and hanging in there. I saw them all off season So I thought it was important to take the pressure off them and put it on me and speak it into existence and say, hey, this is where we'll have to be. Now, we'll go back at the end of the year and we'll look back on some missed opportunities and say, dang, we think we could have done better. But we also are going to look back at some key wins, like, beating an Oklahoma State team that's beaten some top 10 teams and say, well, we did some big things too. But none bigger than this, to go out there with pressure on, and to go out and win a game with pressure. That to me is hard to do. And I just saw that resolve in the players last year. And so I knew that if we could just, put a couple more pieces together, hopefully we could get to this point. And they were able to do it.
Question on the front left.
John Warner, Waco True. Matt, y'all been having trouble forcing turnovers all year, but you got 2 big interceptions there late. How important were those, and how good was that to see that?
It was awesome, and for Raleigh, he had the one in the Texas games. That was Raleigh's second one. And you talk about a guy that's just improved and gotten better, and that was a key play. I mean, they threw the ball up to their money guy, and he went and made the play. And the one at the end, Blake Lynch had his hands on a couple. I mean, we had our hands on a bunch today. Harrison Hand looked like he had a pick 6. Blake had a couple. And, the thing that's starting to happen to us is it used to be when we dropped when everyone would put their head down. Now we're starting to laugh about it, like, oh, we'll get it. And we hung in there, and that was a key play by Blake and a key return. And I thought the sack right before that by B.J. Thompson, one-handed sack was just an extraordinary play. And I don't know if I said earlier, but one thing I don't know how many questions I'll get, I do want to make sure I mention was what a day by Chris Platt to step up, coming off the knee, and things haven't always gone to him this year the way he'd want. I thought he just made some unbelievable plays. And so that was the key to me today, was we made key plays at key times to go win the football game.
Question on the second row, right.
Bryce Cherry, Waco Trib. Matt, you talked about the resiliency, the grit that y'all showed and overcoming a lot of adversity. What does it mean for this program to get to a bowl, and especially going forward?
Well, I think there's really two things, really 3 things maybe. The first one is the tangible of we get another month to practice. We got a bunch of guys under this new red shirt rule. Like, we had a plan to get Gary in today. We want to yet again did not get Gary in, which probably isn't fair to him. Braylon Taylor, Josh Fleeks, all those guys. We have some guys that are banged up, and they'll have to I'm sorry, they'll have to step up, and so they get more time. Even the guys who are redshirting, they get more time, and so that to me will really help our team move forward. You get sometimes take some guys and try them at other positions. So that's the benefit of bowl practice. The intangible is that those seniors they get to be a part of the team for another month. We get to kind of hang in there a little bit longer together. And the third thing, just kind of going back to Chuck's question, is now there's some faith. I've asked them to do a lot of really hard things, and they've done them. And they've sometimes probably wanted to ask why, but they've done them. And now they can look and they can see, hey, we went from 1 win to a bowl. Those freshmen will now know that a bowl's what you're supposed to expect. They'll now see this as the bare minimum, and we better do better than this moving forward. And they'll see some of their players. My daughter's raising her hand. And then they'll see some of those players go off to the NFL this year. And they'll say, okay, this does work for me personally. They'll see other of our guys graduate, and they're in graduate school, and they'll see them go off and have success. So all the things we do, all the things they say, why do I have to get up for breakfast, Coach? Why can't I wear my hat in the building? Why do I have to have a jug? Why can't I have a cell phone in the hotel? They start to start, they now start hopefully to say, hey, it works, and we are a tough, disciplined team. So that's what you hope.
We had a question all the rear, and then we're going to come up to the front.
Paul Catalina, ESPN Central Texas. Matt, you talked about this team not being able to just go play and relax and go play. Did they do that in the second half, especially the way that you guys did it with running the clock, running the ball, and doing it that way?
Yeah, I thought we did it in the first half, too. I mean, we had some penalties, but I thought to go in. That first score, that was on the coaching staff. We were in one coverage. They looked to the sideline to check. We checked to cover 2. The perfect call. Half them got it, half them didn't. Phil Snow, who's a really intense man, said, hey, guys, that's on me. And I thought that was key, And so, he put his ego aside and said, hey, guys, that's on me. I didn't get the check in fast enough, which he probably did, right? But, maybe us signaling in, we didn't get it in fast enough. And so, but we just put that behind us. And that to me was key, was knowing that they were going to throw a flurry. I mean, Cliff is one of the great offensive minds in football. He's going to, the first 20 plays, come after you. And so you have to withstand that and then answer. And so for us to go right back down and score a touchdown after they scored a touchdown was real progress for us. And so I thought today, we just said, hey, let's go play for each other. Let's play one snap at a time. Let's not worry. Let's not play for the bowl. Let's play for each other, and the bowl will come. And so I thought you saw a team, like I talked about Jalen and Jamichael, but there's a lot of other guys that just laid it on the line for the team today.
Question on the aisle.
David Smoke, ESPN Central Texas. A year ago this weekend, after losing to TCU, you said this team will be a bowl team. What made you think that was going to happen, and did you ever doubt yourself?
Just kind of what I said, Chuck. You know, I just thought after seeing the way they improved that they would get there. Yeah, I don't know that I doubted it. I mean, you know, I kind of woke up this morning like, all right, now, you know, you start, you know, I look back at all the things I could maybe have done differently, and I say, boy, I wish I'd have done this differently. I wish I'd have done that differently. But I preach this message to our team that all the things that happen to you for a reason, and they prepare you for the next opportunity. And so all the things that have happened to us throughout the course of the year prepared us for this opportunity today. So that's why I thought it was fitting to be able to run the ball in the fourth quarter. That's why I thought it was fitting to have Platt step up and make those plays. That's why I thought it was fitting, you know, for us to get a turnover at the end, to get a sack, to finish it in 4 minutes, you know. And I just believe in the players. I just believe in the way that they've handled, you know, adversity. Sometimes you look back and you look at the wins and losses, and a lot of times you won't know the storylines of the weeks, some of the things that happened, and the way they've been able to block out things and just focus on each other. And I think we have a team that is close. We have a team that, and that might sound corny, like what does that mean, a team that's close? We don't have a team that they come yelling at me about why he touching the ball and I'm not. We have a team that blocks for each other, and you know, so if we can continue that, like. The post we threw to Taekwon for the touchdown. They had thrown a play earlier. Jeff called a play and he ran a post, and he said, "Coach, the post is wide open. If you call it, I'll run right by the guy." So we called it, but Taekwon was in the game and he caught it. And I said, "You better thank Denzel for that. He told us to call that play. It should have gone to Denzel, but he was out." And Denzel laughed. I mean, it was just like there's not a lot of ego in that room, and. I think when you see that, you see some talented players that have that, you just say, hey, if we get better in a couple key areas, hopefully we can get to this point and maybe beyond.
Got a question on the front right here.
Daddy, how do you throw a football?
How do you throw a football, honey? I'll show you when we get home. I
Take
love
a
you.
question all the way in the rear.
That's a tough one to follow up, but Coach, the way that you all won this game, thinking back to how you've built this team over the last couple of years, is this kind of your ideal blueprint to really have all three areas rise up and kind of salt it away at the end? Yeah, I mean, and we'd like to be a lot better in a lot of areas, right? Like we don't want to turn the ball over in the first half like we did, and we want to get more turnovers. So, you know, I think there was a game early in the year. I remember getting on the radio and they asked me why I didn't go to 4 minutes, and I said, well, I knew we had the game in hand and I wanted to improve as a team, but I think we knew for us to have a chance to win this game, we were going to have to be a tough physical team, and we were going to have to be able to run the football when it mattered. And you know, that's everybody. You know, like some of those balls we threw out the Platt, those bubble screens. That's the O-line blocking the run. That's the running back running. That's Charlie making the right read, getting it out there. So when you run plays like that, you're playing as a team. That's really all I want. I want a team that complements each other. And, you know, when the offense turned the ball over today, yet again, our defense, I think if you look at them, they come out and they get a lot of stops after turnovers. They don't panic. They don't point fingers. They play together. And that's really all you want, because you can handle adversity and success, you know, equally the same if you have a team that plays together.
We have time for two more questions, one in the back and one in the front.
Noah Torre, Baylor Lariat. Coach, Charlie Brewer looked like he got back to his old self today, over 300 yards, plenty of touchdowns. Was the running game helpful in getting him kind of back where he needed to go?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even want to think about last week. I just thought, you know, Charlie, I thought one of the big things was, you know, some guys made some plays down the field for him, you know, and so Taekwon made that play down the field. Platt made the play down the field. You know, we were able to protect for him better. Still not at the level we want. I mean, I think if you want to see the program continue to move forward, we've got to protect the quarterback a lot better. And obviously the run game, you know. And then the fact that our defense hung in there. You know, they scored, I think, on the first 2 or 3 drives, and then we were able to hang in there for a while. And if the game doesn't get away from us, then we can kind of stay true to who we are and run the football and play action and throw it. And that was key.
Question, the last question on the front.
Jerry Hill, Baylor Bear Insider. Matt, with Jalen hurt, you know, limited, I guess that put more on Lovett and Ebner. Can you talk about the way that those guys responded? I think a little over 200 yards for those two guys.
Yeah, and they were, you know, probably a step or two away from knocking a couple out of the park, you know. And so, you know, our plan was, 'cause with Jermichael down, Jermichael was a, you know, emergency guy. Abram's back, but our plan was to run Jalen. We thought we were going to have Jalen was going to have 30 touches today, and he got banged up when we wouldn't come out of the game. But I knew it wasn't right to put him at tailback. More keep him at receiver, and but Lovett and Ebner responded. And Ebner had that one down the left sideline. We thought maybe it was going to be a touchdown, and they're getting better. I mean, they're sophomores. Sometimes you forget, Lovett in 4 minutes running with the ball two-handed. I bring him over, and I realized we haven't been in 4 minute a lot. Last time we were in 4 minute was Kansas last year, where we're running the ball. So it's nice when you can learn things in wins. But they ran hard, and I thought our offensive line blocked really well, and save a couple false starts, man. And we're working 2nd 5 a couple times, and ends up being a little bit longer yardage. So keep correcting some things, and they were pretty stout run defense. They'd given up some yards passing, but pretty stout in the run. And so to be able to run the football, I know that was good. And that was really, I thought the guys up front, but I thought Jeff and Glenn and Sean Bell and all the guys, Joey McGuire, they did a nice job of finding some unbalanced surfaces to run the football in that were a little unusual, that maybe created some lanes and some angles.
Okay, Coach, congratulations. Good luck at your bowl game.
Yes, sir. Thank you, everybody.